Hello everyone, I'm Kayla, and today we are discussing the House of Hades! Oh yeah, I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it! I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it! So, today we're talking about The House of Hades by Rick Riordan, the fourth book in the Heroes of Olympus series, and I needed to make this video because I have like 6 House of Hades discussion videos in my watch later list right now that I cannot watch, and it's killing me. I don't want to spoil anyone that hasn't read the Heroes of Olympus series, which you need to get on that because holy crap, probably one of my favorite series ever, for sure. I can't even give you a summary of this book without spoiling the last 3 of the series, so I would go skedaddle right now. If you haven't read it, I apologize because you're going to miss out on awesomeness. So I hope you click the watch later button and someday you'll get to watch this video. Bye! So I'm just going to kind of go through and discuss what's going on. So let's get started. The first thing that I flip to is Rick Riordan's dedication. To my wonderful readers, sorry about that last cliffhanger. Well, no, not really. Ha 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 ha. But seriously, I love you guys. Best dedication ever. Like, I took a picture of it and I Instagrammed it because it's just epic to have an author do that because sometimes cliffhangers just leave you hanging. I don't know about you guys, but the Mark of Athena cliffhanger was one of the best cliffhangers I ever read in any book. Adult, middle grade, fantasy, whatever. I was just like, are you effing kidding me? What about my Persebeth? You know what I'm saying? Oh my god, I have to wait a year for this shit? We start off the book with Hazel, and I was like, yeah, we're starting, let's go. And it didn't disappoint me. She meets Hecate. I think that's how you pronounce it. This book really should come with the pronunciation glossary. I'm just saying. And she's gonna have to control the mist, and I'm just like, okay, this is getting serious. Then there's the polecat who farts. Leave it to Rick Riordan. I'm reading Hazel, going along well. Flip the page. Boom! Annabeth point of view. I was like, thank Neptune! There is Tartarus point of view in this book. I was almost afraid. I was scared that there wasn't going to be a point of view from Percy or Annabeth in this book because you know how authors love to do that to you. Leave them on a cliffhanger, wait half the book for... Nope! Right away, boom, Annabeth. And I was like, thank you so much. So, things are not looking good in Tartarus. It's the worst climate imaginable. I cannot imagine. My poor Persebeth, you know what I'm saying? And Arachne was alive, and Percy killed her. Thank God that monsters can die in Tartarus. That's all I'm saying. I was like, thank God, okay. They're not in a completely hopeless situation. Okay, we can breathe now. Rick Riordan writes it to the point where you're scared. Like, they might not make it out of there. Granted, it is Percy Jackson, but it's believable that they might not make it out of Tartarus. So they're falling, and Annabeth says, I love you. She wasn't sure if he could hear her, but if they were going to die, she wanted those to be her last words. The feels. So then we get to Leo. Love Leo. And I love how he describes Nico D'Angelo. Now at this point, obviously, I don't know the whole reveal about Nico. I don't know if you watched my last couple videos, but I talk about Nico as one of my fictional crushes. Well, that ship has sailed, my friends. Nico D'Angelo, dang, that kid gave Leo the freaky deakies. He sat back in his leather aviator jacket, his black t-shirt and jeans, that wicked silver skull ring on his finger, and the Stygian sword at his side. And all I'm thinking is, yeah, he is. Yum. I was completely thrown for a loop midway through the book. Just saying. And then we get back to Percy. I am so happy that this book had every other chapter in Tartarus. Thank you, Rick Riordan. Thank you. Percy had taken his girlfriend on some romantic walks before. This wasn't one of them. And then he started looking back on the war with Kronos like those were better days and just how hopeless their situation was throughout the whole book. It's cray-cray, especially when they're walking along and apparently they're inside of a huge body, just like Gaia is the Earth. Tartarus is like the underworld person thing, and it's just creepy to me. Like, this place is not cool at all. But, you know, Rick Riordan has this way when you're in a scary situation like that, or you come up against a villain, he has a way of throwing humor in there. And that scene when they go up against Nyx, is it Nyx? That scene where they go up against the night goddess and they trick her into saying that they're on some tour. Like, I just had to laugh out loud. Like, it's just classic Rick Riordan writing, and that's what I love about this series so much. The humor and the lightheartedness and the sarcasm, the characters. The House of Hades should be actually called the House of Character Development. Every single character has character development. Frank. Oh my god, what a badass. He really came into his own in this book, and I was just like, bravo, Frank. Bravo. Jason even had his moments. Now, I'm not the biggest Jason fan in the world. In fact, I had to die laughing when the first line of the first Jason chapter of House of Hades was, Jason fell asleep on the job. That says it all, peeps. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because the first book was all about Jason and I was like, where's Percy the whole time? He's my least favorite out of the Prophecy of Seven. Am I alone in this? I'm not really sure. But Jason did have his moment when he told Nico that he was so brave. And I was like, wow, Jason, that was so cool of you. Like, so cool. I just felt so bad for Nico. Like, everything he's going through. And then the whole Percy Jackson crush reveal thing. I was like, oh my god, this shit's getting real and Cupid's a dick. Jason's there and just saying, Nico, it's okay. It's okay to be yourself. I loved the character of Bob so much. He was such a sweetheart. And he, like, had to come to terms with the fact that he used to be a bad guy. And the ending, when Percy was looking up at the stars and said, Bob says hello. Like, that was so sad. Gotta love small Bob. He knew what was going on. Hiding all the time. Hell, I'd be hiding too. Just saying. And then there's so many Percabeth moments in this book. When they were in the giant's hut in the middle of the swamp, and she was like, don't be a hero, and he was like, who, me? And he kissed her, his lips parched and feverishly warm, and he said, sleep. I was just loving it. I was loving the moments between Annabeth and Percy. We never really had that before, and you really see their relationship develop throughout the book, and I really appreciated that aspect too. And speaking of relationships, how about we talk about Leo and Calypso, okay? I mean, that was like, what, 4 chapters? Did you ever see the gif online that says, such and such, a better love story than Twilight? The first 8 minutes of the movie Up, a better love story than Twilight. Snape and Lily, a better one-sided love story than Twilight. Leo and Calypso in 4 chapters, a better love story than Twilight. I have to agree, I have to. I love Leo and Calypso so much, like so much. Ugh, I want more of them together. When he had to leave her, I was like, no! I loved their bickering when they first met, and I was like, oh, this shit's happening, guys. They might be my second favorite ship of the whole series, besides Percabeth. You felt the tension. She was wearing red today. Leo's favorite color. That was completely irrelevant. Love it! How did Rick do that in 4 chapters? I'm jealous. Leo and Calypso. Heart. But all these hopeless situations that Percy and Annabeth had to face, the curses, every time they killed one of the Eri, I think they were called, they got a curse inflicted upon them. I'm like, how the hell are they going to get out of this crap? And what I loved about this book is that Percy, our favorite Percy Jackson, he kind of had a lot of flaws exposed. Like, he did forget about Bob, and he did forget about Calypso. Percy Jackson is always glorified in this series, and Percy had to come to terms with himself. Hey, I'm not perfect. Maybe I'm not the best guy. He is the best guy. But maybe I'm not the best guy, and I do need to follow through on my promises more, and I just thought that was amazing character development. The part when Bob said Nico visited him, and Nico told him that Percy was good, that he should protect Percy Jackson, and then Percy felt so low and dishonorable and so unworthy of having a friend. I was just almost in tears because not only is Tartarus so scary and hopeless and depressing, but now he has to struggle with this internal conflict, and I was just, poor Percy. And then we get Grover in a dream. Of course we get Octavian in the same dream. I really cannot stand him. But Grover, people, Grover. And then, of course, we get the Cupid scene. As soon as I read that Nico has a crush on Percy, I could hear thousands of keyboards going a mile a minute saying, "Oh my god, guys, it's canon! It's canon!" And I'm sure now there's going to be tons of Perico stories out there, and I'm not going to read any. My main man, Jason, I never thought I'd say those words together. He tells Nico that was the bravest thing he's ever seen. Jason did something good. Yeah. And then you have Atlas, like, crying and being annoying in Tartarus. And then there's Annabeth Chase, man. She comes in and she's like, I didn't walk halfway across Tartarus to be told what's impossible by some minor goddess. Annabeth, you're a bamf. And then when Achilles attacks Percy, he imagined the fates up in Olympus laughing at his wishful thinking. LOL, noob. Even in a serious situation, there's the humor. LOL, noob. Ugh, this book. So many laughs, so many tears, everything. And then you have this minor plot going along about Coach Hedge. And you find out that his girlfriend is pregnant. This lightness in the dark. And then we learn that Coach had brought Clarice to Camp Half-Blood. What a twist that was. It's been a while since I read the other series. I don't think that was ever discussed before. And I was like, wow, Clarice has a backstory. I want more of that. I would love a short story of Coach Hedge bringing Clarice to Camp Half-Blood. I don't know about you guys, but that has to happen. Let's talk about Piper for a second. Piper surprised me in this book. Like when Keone, the snow goddess, attacked the ship, she used her charm speak to save the day, and I was like, go Piper. And then, of course, you have her fighting with her cornucopia full of food, and I'm just like, but between Piper and Jason got frozen, couldn't do anything. I feel like Jason was like helpless throughout this whole book, seriously. And then there's Piper trying to battle with her food. What a couple. Let's compare Piper and Jason to Percy and Annabeth for a second. Let's not. And then Frank leads the charge to the doors of death, and I'm just like, yeah, Frank. Go Frank for like the 20th time in this book. Go Frank. Then we get Frank dismissing the dead army when the battle is over. And did anyone flash to the Lord of the Rings when Aragorn's like, you may go, and then they dissipate into the air? That's what I was thinking the whole time I was reading this part. I was like, oh, you've done your service, now you can go. And then you gotta love Small Bob attacking Tartarus. This little cat skeleton thing was afraid of everything the whole time they're walking through Tartarus. And when they finally confront Tartarus, there goes Small Bob, right on him. And then Damison the Giant shows up and says, Annabeth Chase, I took your advice. I chose myself a new fate. Bravo, Davison, bravo! Everybody had character development in this book, even minor characters. Everybody. I am a sucker for good character development, and this did not disappoint whatsoever. And then at the end, when Clydius was there, Jason shows up and goes, sorry we're late. Is this the guy that needs killing? Yeah, here comes Jason to maybe save the day. And then we get this scene between Percy and Nico at the end, after all this stuff has been revealed, and you can feel the awkwardness, and I really sympathize with Nico. Now I have to wait a year for Blood of Olympus, and it's just so depressing that I have to wait another year. People will laugh at me for liking Percy Jackson or in middle grade and young adult, but you can't beat this shit, like seriously. And I tell all my friends to read it, and then they say to me, oh, I saw the movie. No. I just love this series so much. The House of Hades was definitely my favorite so far of the Heroes of Olympus series. And it's ironic because the Battle of the Labyrinth was my favorite of the original series, and that was book 4. So I see a pattern here. I see a pattern. Thank you so much for whoever's still watching. I'm sure this is going to be like 15 minutes long. Let me know below down in Tartarus. what you guys thought of the book, what were your favorite parts, what you thought of the characters. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see more of you in the future. Bye! I loved that. Why am I looking at myself? For those of you that are still here after that all excitement deal, bravo! Lord of the Rings kind of reference, not really, probably intentional. And then the giant that I can't remember his name. Achilles? Achilles. Not Piper. Is it Piper? To be jealous of the writing. Already at 5 minutes. Ooh, oh my god. The feels. So emotionally impactful. Is impactful a word? No, probably not.